Breaking news here at 3 concerning the YSL trial. The judge in the case has now been recused.
Atlanta News First anchor and attorney Joy Lim-Nakrin has been reviewing this order that just came out. Joy, what's it saying?
Well, Tori and Alan, just moments ago, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Rachel Krause ordered the judge overseeing the YSL trial to recuse himself. And it comes after the defense team for Jeffrey Williams, a.k.a. Young Thug, filed a motion to have Judge Earl Glanville removed. Defense attorneys pointed to a June 10th meeting that the judge had with the prosecution as well as a key witness without the defense present, also known as an ex parte meeting. Well, after Young Thug's defense attorney confronted the judge about that meeting, Judge Glanville held him in contempt of court and ordered him to spend 20 days in jail. That decision has since been reversed by the state Supreme Court. Well, in deciding that Judge Glanville should now be removed, Judge Krause ruled the recusal was necessary in order to preserve the public confidence in the judicial system. Alan, back to you.
All right, Joy, thank you. We're staying on top of breaking news here for